going on? Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Off the Schneid. It's Tuesday. We're going to be ripping some drafts, at least one draft for sure. Hit that like button. I think I said, what are we going to need? Let's just say 25. I think I said 30 in the description, but let's get to 25 likes. We'll rip a second draft. Not going to talk about too much, just a little bit of ADP stuff. Couple risers. Say hello to the chat. Stephen Hines, good day. Appreciate you. Lolsimo, good to see you. Who Hames, the guy. Checked out one of your videos so far in your channel. Congrats on the channel. Subbed over there. Go sub to Who Hames, one of the most supportive guys in the community. So go sub to Who Hames channel over there. Hartman, what's happening? GM, good to see you. Appreciate you guys. Let's jump into a draft. Let's jump into a draft room right off the hop. So we're doing a big board. I've got 30 left. Oh my God. I don't know why this does this. It says I'm using a VPN. I'm clearly not. It's really annoying. I don't know how this happens. It's really stupid, but it is what it is. Let's jump into one on the telephone. All right, we're going to draft 3 more to start. And there it is. All right. It's really annoying. I think I just have to restart my computer, I guess. I don't know. It's really dumb how it does that. I'm clearly not using a VPN. There's no need for it, but yeah, don't need to be using a VPN. Candyman, Fantasy Football Garage, saw you in a PGA draft last night. That was all right. I don't know if I liked my team. I can't remember. I think I got my first Oberg share, so that was all right. Masters are coming up in a couple weeks. I wonder if that'll have some overlay. The PGA tournament, the Albatross. Let's check it out. How far along are we? Not even 50%. 38, almost 40%. And it starts in 8 days. Probably going to have some overlay on that one, I would think. 2 of 6, 1 of 10, 1 of 6, 310 final. 50 G's up top, 25 to second. That's pretty nice. I'm probably going to do like 10 of those. I've done 5 so far, but yeah, I wonder if there's going to be some overlay. Definitely going to be some overlay over on DraftKings, but I'm not. Who Hames, throw it in the chat for the guys if you want. Throw it in the chat. Go sub to Who Hames over there. Got to support the channel. Got to support the team. So fire it in the chat, and then everyone can jump in and subscribe if they're not already. I did see you expecting 75 to 80%, similar to last year. Is that what it was last year? There was overlay last year. Last 5 days, Underdog pumps up the signal, and there are overlay chasers to auto. Yeah, I definitely I saw that last year a little bit, and I think I did a few more, but I don't know. Maybe I'll do more than 10. We'll see. I don't know. I just want a little fun kind of sweat. I'm not going to put too much into it, really. But I definitely, especially if there's overlay, maybe I'll get a few more. Maybe I'll get up to 20. In the draft, we've got Champ X3. We got Lolsimo. I think that's it. If you're in the chat, let me know. We could take a look at the teams at the end. Picking in the 3-hole, I like that. I'm not sure who I want. I mean, if Jamar Chase somehow felled me, that'd be cool. Never going to happen. I guess I would like, Gibbs is fine. I do want a little more Gibbs. 18% CD feels good. I wanted to be at about 20, but I don't think that's going to happen. We got a Brock Bowers sighting. Wow. I'm going to go Bijan, though. Only 8%. I want to bring that up a little bit. That's called flipping the board. That's interesting. That's definitely flipping the board. Not sure I would advocate for that, but yeah. First time I've seen that one. Can't send links in chat, but channel name is just Who Hames. Yeah, you can go to your channel page, click on the URL, just copy the URL of your channel page, and you should be able to post it in the chat. If you can't, it's all good. But go. Just search Who Hames. Go get a sub over there for the guy. Anything else crazy? That's a little aggressive. Brock Bowers with the 2nd overall. I wonder what this guy is going to go do from here. I'm wondering if he wants to go elite tight end or something like that and go McBride as well, and then kind of try to get unique that way. I don't agree with that. Yeah, there you go. There it is. Get that going. I don't agree with that personally at all, but I can only assume that must be the thought process here and the goal, what he's going for. Try to flip the board, go elite tight end, double elite tight end. I don't know. We'll see. It's definitely aggressive. First time I've ever seen Brock Bowers 2nd overall. BBG would be happy about that. Maybe that's BBG's alter ego over there, who I think is live right now too. So a lot of live channels today. I think we had PPR Tyler a little earlier. I've been tied up until now, so I didn't get in any chats, but I think PPR Tyler was live. I think BBG's live right now. I think Pat on the Fantasy Dog Pound's live. We obviously got myself rolling live, but is it? Is it? I don't know. That's aggressive. That's aggressive to me. And again, the only thing I can think of is he's trying to flip the board and do a double elite tight end kind of thing. I'm not sure. Hit that like. If we get to 25, I'll rip a second draft. The new most popular best video we've had, the last episode. Hopefully everybody got a lot of value out of that one because it did really well. People seem to like it. It's the most watched, most liked, all that kind of stuff. So that's good to see. Better like this myself, even get it up to 6 likes. So if we get to 25, I think I said 30. I did. I said 30 in the description, but if we get to 25, we'll rip a second draft. Got to do it for the team. If you're new to the channel, hit the sub button down below. We're 7 away from 500. So we're pretty well definitely going to get there, I feel like, before the NFL draft. Hopefully we get it sooner than later so we have some teams to draft. Everything's in line so far. I'm wondering what this guy in the 2 hole is going to do. That's aggressive to be bringing up Brock Bowers to that spot, but we shall see. Let's go. Let's go T. Higgins here. I want to get my exposure up a little bit. I want to do just hovering around 10%. Yeah, that's what I thought. Trey McBride. That's what I thought he was going to do. It's kind of the only thing that makes sense there. I think you could have waited to 26, but if that's your goal, then you got to do it there. And then Josh Allen. Wow. Definitely different. Definitely a little interesting. Let's bring in, I'm going to bring in JSN because I just want to be at a certain percent. I'm at 13% right now. I'd like to be around 15. So let's bring in JSN. I think it works for this build. But that's exactly kind of what I thought would happen here is he goes Brock Bowers and then Trey McBride. It's the only thing that kind of makes sense, like from a strategic standpoint. And then the Josh Allen, I mean, it's different. It's definitely different. Yeah, get different. Ben Haskell, what's happening, man? Good to see you. So it's definitely, getting different there. I'm not sure I agree, but that has to be, that's the only way that this strategy kind of makes sense is if you go like double elite tight end, elite quarterback, I guess, I don't know. Let's see. I'm really, really interested to see how this guy lands this plane. I'll tell you that much. We'll definitely be keeping an eye on this. Definitely keep an eye on that. Harold Fannin time. I'm down to 12%. Down to 12%, 15% overall. I'll probably keep it. I have 29 more, I think, 29 more bullets after this one. So I'm trying to save as many as I can for if we could rip this 12-hour live stream, which I'm sure we will. It's just a matter of what we're drafting. So I'm not too worried about it. There should be, probably the big board 2, or sorry, the little board 2 will probably be coming out, and then rookies and sophomores. So we'll have something to draft in the 12-hour live stream. But again, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. We're like I said, 7 away from hitting the subscriber goal of 500, and 25 likes on this stream will rip a second draft. So hit that like button if you don't mind, guys. Steve, good to see you. Appreciate you. 12% Harold Fannin now. 186 is my average, ADP for Fannin. That doesn't feel very good at all, but I don't know. I'll probably click them a couple more times, like once or twice more where it makes sense. I think I would have to have some kind of like top end elite tight end. So it definitely won't be on this team. I'll tell you that 100%. It won't be on this team with Bowers and Trey McBride going. Maybe if like Kittle and Laporta or something like that. I don't think that'll happen on this team either. Like Kittle, Andrews with Fannin, Jonnu, maybe Tyler Warren in there, Evan Ingram, Kraft. I don't know, something like that. 2 of those types, and then maybe a Harold Fannin percent. Yeah, hit the like button, guys. Let's go. Well, 25 isn't crazy. We do it most live streams, so appreciate you. My ADP is closer to 170 at 40%. Wealthy. That is a wealthy price tag. That is a wealthy price tag. Kelly, how are you? Good to see you. Hit the like button, guys. We'll rip a second one. We will rip a second one. Still have a fair amount. I have enough. I have enough bullets where I can still even out some ADPs, even out some exposures, and rip enough for the 12-hour live stream. Realistically, like even if I did drafts the whole time during the 12-hour live stream, it's only 12 drafts, really. So, which isn't going to happen. I'm not going to do nothing but drafts. That'd be kind of on the lame side, if I'm being honest. We'll do some other stuff. I'll have to think of what exactly, but we'll figure it out. It's kind of the least of my concerns, but let's rip Roma Dunze here. Down to 18%, right at ADP. Makes sense in this build. I want to be about 20%. I want to be overweight Odunze personally. And then if the one spot doesn't take Joe Burrow, then I'll grab him. I'm not going to take him ahead of ADP and just force it, especially, I mean, if Roma Dunze was not on the board here and it was Jalen Hurts, if the 4-hole had taken Jalen Hurts, had taken Roma Dunze and Jalen Hurts were still on the board, then I would have taken Joe Burrow there, actually. But that's fine. And the one spot does take Joe Burrow. So then you get into this spot where, like, this part of the draft, obviously for ADP risers and fallers, DK has definitely been falling. Tet's just stayed stagnant pretty much all draft cycle, which is fine. I'm glad he didn't rise, and I somehow have 7%. Man, I would have taken George Kittle there. Geez, is this a DK spot? Is this a DK spot? Like, you can kind of do whatever you want here. You really can. You can flip the board. You can pull guys up. It's really not a problem. I'm at 7% DK. He does kind of match up with the T Higgins. Let's do DK. I don't particularly love it, but he had a throwing session with Aaron Rodgers, as we kind of all know, which, feels good. Pickens is kind of the odd man out there, right? So hopefully they can get some rapport going with that throwing session. Deep ball guy, as long as DK has the trust of Aaron Rodgers, he will just force the ball there. So let's tell ourselves a story, which is what we're doing. And again, it does pair up with the T Higgins, playoff stack. chances are the Bengals and the Steelers will play at some point week 15, 16, 17. So let's give it a whirl. Let's give that a little bit of a whirl. I think Waddle should move up ahead of a few of these guys. I'm at 16% Waddle. That's right where I want to be. I think he should be going ahead of Addison, Godwin, Debo, Olave, probably even Cortland Sutton, Ted McMillan, probably DK. Maybe I should have just taken Jalen Waddle there, but I have, I've got 16%, double the field essentially. So it's not exactly necessary. Yeah, but that, I don't know. That's where I feel, that's how I feel about Waddle. He should move up in my opinion. Who else is moving up, down? Joe Mixon's still at 48, pick 48. What's his ADP now? 51. He needs to be falling. I don't know. Like I'm taking, honestly, Najee over Joe Mixon 100%. 100% of the time, I'm taking Najee over Joe Mixon. I would take Trevion Henderson. Probably, yeah, Alvin Kamara. Chuba for sure. Kenny Walker for sure. Like for me, Mixon should be down here with like David Montgomery and James Conner, right in this late 60s. So he's like almost 20 picks, like too expensive ADP wise, in my opinion. I've been pretty well known to just despise Joe Mixon as a player and a person, but still, he's just not good. Like bottom line, no matter how you shake it, he's not a good player. And that's just a fact of life that we all need to come to terms with. Kenny Walker falling. I don't agree with that. And I don't know if I want to take him with this team. Okay, he goes. That's good. I didn't want to have to take him. I think Jaden Reed makes some sense for this build. I would have taken Judkins. If Najee was still on the board, I definitely would take him. I don't like the running backs in this range, but having Bijan as my anchor feels really good. I don't have to force anything. So let's bring in Jaden Reed. 12% Jaden Reed. I'm okay to pad that exposure a little bit. Yeah, let's do that. Works with the Roma Dunze as well. And even Jackson Smith and Jigba. I actually might have gone down the George Pickens road here and just double stacked Pittsburgh and played off of that for one share. I have zero shares of the Pittsburgh double stack DK Pickens with Aaron Rodgers, but I might have done it in this instance. I might have actually put that together. I think I'm going to go. Wow. Triple elite tight end. Wow. What are we doing? What are you doing? I really, really, really cannot get behind that one tiny little bit. That's interesting. That's definitely getting different, but that's just super unadvisable. It does not make any sense in the world. Like, so let's talk about this. Like, so let's make this pick, then we'll talk about this. I'm gonna go with Caleb Johnson too. I'm only at 5%. I do want a little bit more. I think I need to. Well, I mean, just take him at ADP right now. I'm not drafting James Conner. I don't care if I'm wrong on that one. I'm just not doing it. But let's talk about this. So the thing, like, this could work. You can land this plane on a double elite tight end with Brock Bowers, Trey McBride, and then bringing in, especially with bringing in Josh Allen. That actually is not the craziest thing in the world. those 3 picks. Like, I'm never doing it. I can advise you do it. I wouldn't do it personally, but you can get out of that and you can land that plane and make it make sense. But then going George Kittle obviously makes 0 sense. So this kind of ties into another drafter we all know and love. Hit him with the gritty, Mike Bolduc, right? He does a lot of elite quarterback, where he's taking 3-4 quarterbacks within the first like 7 rounds or whatever, right? And that doesn't make any sense either. It's great for advanced rate. Yeah, you're probably going to advance, but it's exceptionally unlikely that you're going to get that team deep into the tournament. And why is that? So Brock Bowers and Trey McBride, like, yeah, you're guaranteeing yourself like a high point output out of your onesie tight end position, right? But and like, okay, one of them might get into your flex once in a while, so it's like, okay, that could work. As far as like, again, the quarterback with hit him with the gritty style versus an elite tight end style, double elite tight end style. Like, the other tight end could still crack your lineup relatively easily and relatively frequently because they score so many points and they could just be sitting there in your flex spot, right? But then beyond that, and this is where it ties into the quarterback position, like beyond that, when is George Kittle ever going to get into your lineup? Like, he might, but like, you're never going to have, at least very, 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 very unlikely, are you ever going to have all 3 crack your lineup in any given week, right? So it just makes 0 sense to do this, like the George Kittle, when you have 2 elite tight ends. It makes no sense in the world whatsoever. So then same thing conversely on the quarterback side. Let's say you have even just Josh Allen. Let's say you just have Josh Allen, right? How likely is it that even a Joe Burrow or a Jalen Hurts or a Lamar Jackson or a Jaden Daniels, how often are they going to crack your lineup, right? Pretty much never, more or less, right? Like, it just doesn't add up. Plus, you can't get them in your flex spot. So the hit them with the gritty, strategy, you're going to advance a lot of teams, but you're not going to win any tournaments. It's just not going to happen. Even though I'm hoping for that chaos. I really am hoping for the chaos of gritty winning a tournament with that build. Because it would just be it would be hilarious. But it's exceptionally, exceptionally unlikely, right? So same thing with this. Like, if you're not allowing, like, the whole like game theory of best ball is allow the most potential for the most, players to have an opportunity to crack your lineup, right? So that's why you can stop at 2 quarterbacks. You can stop at 5 running backs, 4 running backs. You can stop at, you need as many wide receivers as you can get. You can stop at 2 tight ends. So like, the positions that you have to start one, and this is not like, I'm literally giving beginner level best ball strategy here, which I'm sure everybody in the chat knows, but it just needs to be repeated, I guess. And this, just dig into this conversation. So onesie positions, right? Like, you don't need to stack talent with early positions because they're not going to be able to crack your lineup. They're just going to default each other out, right? Like, that's what I want to grab gritty and just say to them is like, it doesn't make any sense because they're never going to, like, you're never going to come out on top, really. Like, you're going to advance a lot of teams because you're going to have such high scores at a quarterback position where you can get 30 relatively easily and way more consistently. I get that. But like, it's just not going to work out in the playoffs where you need the wide receiver or the running back that scores 30 points. You need that player regardless of anything. What are we going to do here? Let's get out of this for a second. Let's bring in Caleb. Pair him up with our Rome. Let's do that. Only 14%. I want more than that of Caleb Williams for sure. So let's bring him in. Let's bring him in. Yeah, we're gonna have to do some creativity here. But yeah, that's just like what I want to. That it just doesn't make sense. And now this guy's going to be catching up. And so he's Rashee Rice, huge question mark around Rashee Rice for lots of different reasons. Jerry Jeudy, huge question marks for Jerry Jeudy, huge question marks for Cooper Kupp. So then you backdoor yourself into these positions where you're trying to catch up, and there's no way you can realistically, like, I guess you could have taken Calvin Ridley. I don't know. You could have done some different things, I suppose, but like this guy is it's basically a dead, like he might advance because he's got the elite quarterback and 2 elite tight ends. So this might be an okay advance rate team, but there's not a chance in the world that team is going to win the big board. It's never going to happen. I'm going to bring in, kind of playing off this AFC North a little bit with Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. Let's bring in Mark Andrews. Couple picks past ADP. Let's do that. It's just never going to happen. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe it needs to be talked about a little more. Maybe I'm sure everybody in this chat probably knows, and this is all just basic stuff. But yeah, a little crazy. Triple elite tight end plus elite quarterback. Probably not going to work out. And only wide receiver coming off major injury, and then older Cooper Kupp, Jerry Jeudy with no quarterback. Like this, it's just yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. I might have maybe one tops of this as well, but I think I might try to mix one in, maybe two, just in case. Even if he bullies the room on tight end in the room 15 pod, won't make a difference. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just such a negative EV. The round 8-15. Yeah, it's such a negative EV play. Like, it just is never going to work. You might advance, and in a 3 of 12 advance tournament, like, fucking sweet, give me that, and then that guy's probably going to advance. Like, now that I have someone like Mark Andrews, like, I'm happy. If you haven't drafted a tight end yet, like, you're still fine. Actually, I don't even know what like. You're still way fine. Like, it's just, I don't know. Again, he's relatively live to advance as long as he brings in like at least probably 10 wide receivers, because of the elite quarterback, and guaranteeing himself like probably like 20 points a week with these 3 tight ends. That's probably guaranteeing yourself 20 points a week at the tight end spot, which is going to go a long way as far as advancing. But again, it's just never going to work out in the playoffs. Third tight ends simultaneously capped his ceiling and lowered his floor. Yeah, pretty much. Like, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. That's what it does, right? I actually think it hurts your advance rate, but could pay off for the playoffs if you're lucky. For instance, Allen was week 15 smash, week 16, 17 were meh. I don't think that hurt. I don't think it would hurt your advance rate. Like, I think it would. I think it should help your advance rate. Because what are we averaging? Like, what's the average? It's like basically 8 points roughly out of a tight end position per week, right? So if he's guaranteeing himself 20, let's call it, out of those 3, just out of the tight end position, we're not counting anytime they crack, we're not averaging it out when they crack a flex or anything like that. So let's call it 20. I guess we can call it, let's say 18, just to make it even math. So 10 more points per week, right? Times 14, 140 more points. Let's pull it back to 120 more points at the tight end position. That's going to advance more teams than not. So, okay, never mind. We're good then. Yeah, we're good then. Emo Cowboy, what's happening, man? Yeah, okay, we're good. I don't need to go into that anymore. Because yeah, it doesn't make any sense. It just would never make sense. That's probably the most negative EV like play or strategy you could ever do. Again, this is actually not that crazy. The top 3, this first 3 picks, is actually not that crazy. You can get out of that. You can land that plane. You can figure it out. But not when you bring in Kittle. Let's bring in Drake May here. I do not have enough Drake May. So let's do that. Song and dance. I'd like to probably catch up a little bit at running back here. Wide receiver room's in a good spot. T. Higgins, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Roman Dunze, DK Metcalf, and Jaden Reed. I like that. I would have taken Love if he fell to me, but Champ X3 grabbed him. You can always backstack it, so I don't hate that. It's a strategy that I've laid out multiple times, and I won't snipe you on Tucker Kraft, but someone else might. Oh man, I wanted Jordan Mason there. I probably should have just taken him, I guess, and then I could have easily grabbed another quarterback somewhere else, but that's okay. I really did want Jordan Mason. I was just hoping I was hoping these badge lists, and this guy's doing some wildness. 1-3-3-3, hey? I don't know what you're doing. Jared Dunn. I don't know what you're doing. Brings in Coleman. Okay. Stacks up with Josh Allen. Sure. I don't have to force anything realistically. I really should have just taken Jordan Mason there. So let's bring in Evan Ingram. Maybe I do bring in Harold Fannin, Ben, on this one. We got Mark Andrews and Evan Ingram. I could just stop at 2 there. Actually, we'll see. We'll see how this goes. This is an interesting build. Actually, we're super fringe for stopping 2 quarterbacks and stopping 2 tight ends. That could be something we do here. We'll see how the rest of this goes, but it could work out that way. Pat, what's happening, man? Must have just wrapped up your stream, I would imagine. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. We'll see where it goes. I might stop at 2 and 2. We will see. Then brings in Keon Coleman. Man, this is just a really interesting one. Like, oh yeah, I was gonna say you can play out of this. I actually don't think it's that crazy. I don't hate it. Like, I really don't despise this start at all. If it were me, I wouldn't do it from the 2 spot. Like that, it's kind of a waste, and it's pretty unnecessary to do it at the 2 spot. I mean, McBride is what, 26, so I mean, you could probably only pull it off from like the 4. I'm trying to think of ways you can not have to pull Josh Allen up so far and Trey McBride and Brock Bowers. I guess you didn't pull up Trey McBride on this one, but either way, regardless of how you do it, you can draft out of this and make it work and make it make sense. But he didn't do that, unfortunately. So we'll see where it lands. But yeah, that's a wild one. First time I've ever seen that. First time I've seen Brock Bowers 2nd overall, Trey McBride, and George Kittle. First for everything. There is a first for everything that you see in this game. Jared Goff with just Laporta. Okay. That could work, I suppose. Unstack Jaden Daniels, unstack Justin Fields. If you're going to do it, that's not the worst way to do it. That's not the worst way to do it. That's kind of interesting. Neighbors, McCaffrey, Jaden Daniels, Xavier Worthy, Trevion Henderson, Juwan Jennings, Luther Burden, Brian Robinson Jr., Cam Scattaboo, Justin Fields, Dalton Kincaid, and Trey Harris. Interesting. Could work. Brian Thomas drafter brings in Trevor Lawrence. I was listening to Sirius XM the other day. A couple things actually from Sirius XM. So I was listening to Sirius XM the other day, and they had Liam Cohen on. I was a little sad they didn't give him a do-over on the Duval chant. That kind of he needs another shot at that. I think he needs to redeem himself on that, but they didn't do that. But he did mention the first two names that he talked about as far as like pass catchers were two of my guys, one for sure. Brenton Strange and Parker Washington were the first two names he said. And then he said Brian Thomas Jr. But obviously we know BTJ is the number one. I'm not here to, dispute that or anything. Man, what do I want to do here? I'm going to pull up Trey Benson. Again, I'll finish the thought that I had there, but if I'm low on James Conner, which I absolutely am, I therefore must be high on Trey Benson, which I absolutely am. So listening to SiriusXM, those are the first two names that he mentioned before Brian Thomas Jr. Obviously, again, BTJ is the number one. That's no question. But he brought up Brenton Strange and Parker Washington. That feels nice to me as a 20% plus Parker Washington drafter. 22% Parker Washington. Pretty high on him. Very high on him. Yeah, I think it's all set up for him to have a Chris Godwin type role on that team. That's kind of the way I see him as a player and how I see him fitting into that offense. So I think it makes a lot of sense, and I'm going to keep drafting him. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's a 20th round pick, not the end of the world. But I think the juice is absolutely worth the squeeze when we're talking about Parker Washington. Personally, that's my personal thoughts on that. And then another thing that I heard the other day, which we'll get into in a second here after I make this pick. Might do something a little bit different, but let's bring in, again, playing off this entire AFC North situation. I got Cincy, Pittsburgh, Baltimore. Let's bring in the 1A, 1B running back, Jerome Ford. I think that makes a ton of sense. I need a running back. Let's do it. So the second thing I heard, which, is kind of, makes the, I don't know if it's good or bad for 0RB, but last year there were about roughly 550 less offensive plays last year over the regular season in the NFL. Roughly 550-ish less plays last year. Conversely, there was roughly about 550 more running plays last year. So what does a running play do? Keeps the clock rolling, right? So, which makes there less time for more plays, obviously. So teams are running the ball more. That has been something I've been saying on this channel for about 2 years now. If you've been around a long time, which not many people have, but I've been saying that for a long time. Why have I been saying that? I've been saying that the big body running back is going to make a comeback. The Najee Harris types, the Caleb Johnson potentially types, right? The Derrick Henrys, the even Saquon, stuff like that. The high touch, big body guys that could take a pounding between the tackles. Why do I think that they're going to make a comeback, and they have been making a comeback? I'll give a few minutes if someone could take a guess on why I think that, and if anyone agrees. Why do I think, and why would big body, bruiser type running backs have more success in today's NFL? Why, and moving forward, why should they, in my head, have more success? If anyone wants to take a shot at it in the chat, go nuts. If not, I'll tell you my theory. And it seems to be pretty sound as we kind of look at today's, current NFL landscape and the way teams are drafting and what they're looking to do. Now, what do I want to do with this team? We're running out of picks. 25 likes, we'll rip a second draft. So go ahead, hit that like button. If you're on the Twitter machine, jump over to the YouTube, universe, pop in, hit the like button, and then we'll rip a second draft. But we got to get to 25 likes. We are at 13 right now. So we're about halfway there. So need a few more likes if we want to see a second draft. We got six more rounds to get there. Steve, 2 high safety, smaller running linebackers, and more teams primarily nickel. Also, defensive ends are more and more sub 260 pounds. That is exactly correct. That is exactly why most all teams are running, I don't know, 70% nickel. I'd have to look into the actual numbers, but I know the numbers are high. I know they're high. Let's make a pick, and we'll keep diving into this a little bit. Isaac Arendo, I think, stands out here for me. Or, yeah, Isaac Arendo stands out for me. We're only at 15 likes. Hit the like button. We want to rip a second draft. I think it's about 70%. Yeah, I think it's about there too. I said 60 to 70. Yeah, it's right around there, 60 something, 70% roughly, right? So nickel corners, everybody's smaller on defense, right? It's all about speed. Everybody's trying to be smaller, faster, be able to cover people, whatever, cover these like smaller linebackers to cover these super athletic tight ends, right? And these super athletic little jitterbugs in the slot, right? You got to have athletic guys, fast athletic guys. And what do you sacrifice for speed? Bulk, toughness, right? So then you throw a 230-pound running back there, like Derrick Henry. Coincidentally, Derrick Henry can also, run. He every year he's a threat to score from anywhere. Like whether you like it or not, he runs 80-yard touchdowns every single year. At that size, like that's insane. So you throw him back there and he just grinds down this defense. Like those little guys are not going to want to be tackling Derrick Henry, right? So it's just going to continue to go that way as long as teams continue to play predominantly nickel coverages and these smaller slot corners smaller safeties, small athletic type safeties, speed guys. If they continue to be drafted by these NFL teams, then these big body running backs are going to continue to dominate, and offensive coordinators and head coaches will adjust and say, let's run over these fucking little midgets. Like, you know what I mean? Let's run over these guys. I don't mean to call, NFL players midgets, but you know what I'm talking about. And the correct term is little people. So let's be real on that one. But anyways, it just like doesn't make sense to play into what the defense is trying to do to you. You know what I mean? Like it's just built in. So yeah, you got to zig when they zag, and that's really all they can do. So it makes tons of sense to me that running plays are up, and it's going to continue to go that way. So someone like an Ollie Gordon, I think, is just fine with what he did in the combine. I know people are concerned and as he's falling. I'm still almost 20%. Did he just go in this draft? Is he falling below Damian Martinez now? Oh, there he is. I'm 17% Ollie Gordon. So he did exactly what he was always going to do at the combine. And for some reason, people think that that's not good enough. I couldn't tell you why. But you throw that guy in a 6 or 7 man box full of people that are smaller than him, he's going to do well. So that's my theory. That's my thesis. Yeah, maybe that could, like, it's always going to, it's just cyclical, right? In the NFL, it's constantly evolving. It's a constant arms race where they're trying to catch up to the new hot thing. So last year when Commanders played the Ravens, I think they only had 4 active cornerbacks because they wanted extra. Yeah. That's the strategy that you need to do to stop a team like the Ravens, obviously, and probably the Chargers this year with Najee. Hit the sub button if you're new. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. We're 7 away from a 12-hour live stream, which is super, super close. We're 9 likes away from this stream doing a second draft. If we don't We got to get to 20. We got to get to 25 likes. Let's go. Help a kid out. We got 16 watching on the YouTube machine. 34 now, probably 34 were on the Twitter machine. Probably it's not accurate. It's not live. I get that. So jump over to the YouTube machine, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's have some more fun. What are we going to do? There goes Ollie Gordon. I probably would have taken him on this team. I would have taken Jalen Knoll for sure. We'll be taking Mario Douglas, a little Pop Douglas action to pair with our Drake May. I'm not worried about Hunter Henry going. I would have drafted him if he were here, but let's take Pop Douglas. I've been saying it all along, and I think it's even more solidified now. His role is the most solidified role. It's the most solid on the team, I think, as long as they don't draft like Jalen Knoll with their first pick in the second round. If they do, then that's going to hurt Pop Douglas quite a bit. But we'll see how that goes. I might just stop. I'm going to stop at 2 quarterbacks for sure. The only other way out of this would be like Aaron Rodgers, but I'm not going to do that unless Freiermuth was still on the board. He's not. Okay. So I might just stop. I'm going to stop at 2 quarterbacks here. It doesn't feel amazing, but I am going to stop at 2 quarterbacks. I'm probably going to bring in a 3rd tight end, but that can wait till my very, very last pick. We're at 19 likes as we're sitting live. 6 more. It's nothing crazy. We hit 25 likes almost every stream. It's not asking too much. It's got to be Jalen Royals. It's got to be Jalen Royals. I'm going to probably have to throw 7 running backs at this, which is fine if I'm not, because I need a 3rd tight end. How many picks? We have 3 picks left. I'm stopping at 2. I guess I can get away with only 8 wide receivers, although I'd like to bring in another. We'll see where it ends up. It's going to be close. Yeah, it's fringe, but it could work. It's fringe, but it definitely could be okay. Harder to go 2 versus 3 QBs in these 20 rounds. Yeah, 100%. 100% it is. And then once it gets down here, it's just I'm kind of just done. Like I would have maybe pulled in Aaron Rodgers with DK if Freiermuth fell into my lap somewhere, but I'm not going to force it. Same thing with Cole Kmet. I didn't want to force him in on this one. Just because I have a lot of that and it's not necessary. Like as much as we do, and I do as well, double stack, triple stack, whatever, it's really not necessary in the big board. I mean, with the tight end, it's better. Like I would rather double stack with a wide receiver, a high quality wide receiver like DJ Moore or Rome Odunze in that Bears offense, and then bring in Cole Kmet. Then I'd rather do that than draft both DJ Moore and Rome Odunze. Mind you, I do that as well. So just, even out your exposures as far as that's concerned. But yeah, it's just not necessary to double stack on every build and every team. So I'm probably done here. I might just say fuck it, and I'm done at 2 tight ends and 2 quarterbacks because I can get away with it. I could be okay at 6 running backs, though. That's a quality enough running back room. Bijan, Caleb Johnson, Trey Benson, Jerome Ford, Isaac Garendo. With 1 more, I don't know. We'll see. I might do a 2-7-9-2 is where this will probably end up, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. 3 away, 3 picks left. We're at 20 likes. Hit the like button, 25, and we'll rip a second draft. If not, I'm going to get out of here and do some mock draft work. It's not like I'm going to go and sit on my thumb. I'm going to go do some work on my mock draft, which is getting closer by the day. That sort of stuff is kind of what I want to talk about as well on the 12-hour live stream. Talk about some NFL draft type stuff because it's one of the funnest things to talk about, in my opinion. So, and it depends on who the guests will be. I got to start probably reaching out for guests to bring on. There's a couple people I have in mind. There's obviously the typical friends and family. BBG, PPR Tyler, Fancy Dog Pound wants to make an appearance. It's an open door. Emo Cowboy, the friends and family will be on for sure. And then I got a couple guys in mind that I would like to have on and have conversations with. But we'll see. We will see. Got to hit that subscribe button. Got to hit that like button. We've got to make it happen as a team. Teamwork makes the dream work. I don't want to spoil it. Nice. Give me my guy, Kyle Williams, every time. If I can get him this late these days, it's tough to get him this late nowadays. In today's economy, I still have 23% Restrepo, and I do still think Restrepo is a fine click, a very fine click. But yeah. I'll probably be taking Kyle Williams over Restrepo. I don't want that to dip below 20%, though. I still believe in Xavier Restrepo personally. And then we're just going to wrap it up with 2 running backs and kind of have some fun with this one. I'm kind of hoping, I guess, Jalen Royals or Kyle Williams could end up on the Bears potentially. That would make some sense. Or New England. But that would hurt Pop Douglas. Well, Kyle Williams would not hurt Pop Douglas, but Jalen Royals probably would. Caleb Johnson to the Bears would be fun. That would make some sense for this team. Definitely an odd build, definitely unique to me, which I'm happy about. That's something I want to focus on, like I've been saying since the combine, essentially, is I want to make sure that I'm getting unique builds for me and for my portfolio. That's all I'm really caring about and focusing on right now, evening out exposures, getting some unique builds for my portfolio. And that's definitely what this is, for sure. I like it. Different team. Little interesting. I only have 4% of this player, and I want a little bit more. So let's bring in Jaden Blue. Fun click. Recently saw he has a little more fumbles than I would like to see, but, you know, the Ashton Genty slappies aren't ready for that conversation either. So let's get a little Jaden Blue in our lives. We got one more pick and then a few teams to go over. And we're sitting at 20 likes. So 5 more will rip a second draft. If not, I'm going to hunker down on some mock draft stuff, which I won't do on stream. I'm not doing anything like that on stream. I can't give away my mock draft episode, right? I'm very excited for the mock draft episode. It's my favorite episode every single year. So definitely looking forward to that one. That's not one you're going to want to miss. That's one of my favorite, funnest episodes of the entire year. But I will probably want to talk about some of that stuff on the 12-hour live stream. I don't want to talk about some of the, things that I dig into and find. There's some nuggets that I've found that I don't want to give away too early. I'll talk about when I do the mock draft, obviously. But I don't want to give it away right now. So... but I'm definitely looking forward to that episode. That will be a good one. Who's rising at the end of drafts here? I don't know how Marshawn Lloyd is still so low, if I'm being honest. I'm 17% Marshawn Lloyd. He was one of my highest exposed players last year. And that obviously didn't work out, but it was like just bad luck, realistically. Just over and over, just tough luck for Marshawn Lloyd, which what are you gonna do? Like, you can't really get upset about that. But it's another one of those James Conner situations with Josh Jacobs. If I'm low on Josh Jacobs, I must be high on Marshawn Lloyd, and I am. Probably doesn't make sense for this team. I mean, it's fine. I have Jaden Reed, which is fine. I, double stack against the Bears. That actually kind of works, and maybe I will do it as my 7th running back. Actually, I think I just talked myself into it. Could go Gibson here as well. I'm only 8%, and I want to be at about 8%. They could definitely bring in a running back, but I don't think it makes sense for their team right now. I really don't. I think you just ride it out with Stevenson and Gibson. And then they probably will draft someone at some point, but if it's a 5th round rookie running back, depending on who it is, if it's a 5th, 6th round rookie running back, like, I don't know, let's say it's Trevor Etienne. Actually, that does hurt Gibson. Let's say it's Rocket Sanders. That's fine for Antonio Gibson. Hurts Stevenson, probably. I probably would have brought in Jarquez, my guy, but he's gone. Taj Brooks could make some sense. I guess if Gibson's there, I'd just take him to pair him up with Drake May. 23 catches last year. How many did Stevenson have? Another 33. Probably what, like 30, low 30s in targets for Gibson, low 40s, so 70-ish targets to the running back. A lot of that wasn't with Drake May. I don't know if it's really necessary to bring in Antonio Gibson. I think I'd probably rather take a shot on a rookie. And I think that Taj Brooks deserves a little more love. Let's get Rocket Sanders, I guess. Let's give him a shot. I only drafted, this is the 2nd time I've drafted him. Some people like him. He did well at the combine. Like, I didn't love his tape, but realistically, he just played on a bad team. So maybe that's the biggest problem there. Size, speed is pretty impressive for Rocket Sanders, but I didn't love his tape. Again, the team stinks. So that he could be a better NFL player than he was a college running back. So let's lean into that. Yeah, I like Taj Brooks as well. I only have 4%, so I'd like to get a few more shares. Josh McDaniels consistently throws to his backs more. Yeah, he does. But it could just, like, that doesn't mean that Drake May is going to do it. Like, like a guy like Jameis doesn't throw to his running backs very much, which he probably should. Instead of throwing an interception, you should probably just check it down, Jameis. But he just slings it to the outside and gets picked off for the 8th time in, 9 throws. But either way, let's take a look here. We're at 22 likes, 3 more by the time we're ripping through these teams, and we'll rip another draft. If not, we're going to call it an early night. We're almost 3 hours in the last live stream 2 days ago. So I'm still a little tuckered out from that. It was a big episode. Again, the most successful episode on the channel so far, the most successful live show on the channel so far. So I appreciate you guys. If you missed that episode, probably worth watching back. A lot of information in there. And I'm actually probably going to watch it back myself to figure out what I learned while watching it. You learn stuff on the fly, which I did. So I'm probably going to watch it back myself at 1.25, 1.5, and write a few things down that I kind of caught during the episode. But We'll take a look at my squad, 2 others in the chat, and then we'll get out of here unless we hit the like goal. So 2792, Caleb Williams, Drake May, super fringe, but it can work. It can definitely work, but it's really fringe. I'll say that. I don't mind it. Bijan, Caleb Johnson, Trey Benson, Jerome Ford, Isaac Garendo, Jaden Blue, Rocket, Sanders. I actually really like this. It's definitely a little different. Certainly different for me. You got some big play potential with Jaden Blue, Garendo, even Jerome Ford, Trey Benson, 6 foot 220, 3-3. Sorry, 4-3. Geez, 3-3 would be ridiculous. 4-3 speed. Like, that's pretty impressive. Caleb Johnson. Yeah, I like this. This works. I want to get a little more Caleb Johnson. I think he's getting, a little disrespected. So I'm going to try to pick up a few more shares, get up to that 8%-ish of Caleb Johnson. But I like this room. I think it works. A good mix of vets and rookies. Yeah, works for me. T. Higgins, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Roma Dunze, DK Metcalf, Jaden Reed, Josh Palmer, Pop Douglas, Jalen Royals, and Kyle Williams. I really like that room as well. Got Josh Palmer as a bring back to the New England stack. We've got Green Bay as a bring back to the Bears stack. We got this whole AFC North thing going on. A lot of correlation. I like this build quite a bit. We even got some Arizona, San Francisco. I like that a lot. Mark Andrews and Evan Ingram are the tight ends. I actually really, really like this team. I honestly do. It's really different. I think that this is a type of team that could win this tournament. Honestly, I really do. I really, really do. Yeah, we'll rip through your team, and hopefully we get there for the likes to rip another. We got Champ X3, Stephen Hines there in the chat. Jordan Love, Dak Prescott. I'm good with that. That makes sense. Let's see if you stacked up a little bit. Bucky Irving, Kyron Williams, James Cook, David Montgomery, Jalen Warren, Bashal Tootin, and RJ Harvey. Too much for 7. I really don't think you really don't need 7 here. You could make a case stopping at 5, especially with the early picks, 138, 162. Yeah, I probably, like, you could be okay stopping at 5 running backs here for sure. 6, all right, but you definitely don't need a 7th. I don't think. I'm gonna assume that your wide receiver room is a little bit on the shallow side. But let's take a look. This phone is pissing me off. Give me a sec. Keeps unplugging and plugging back in, driving me nuts. Yeah, doesn't have enough juice to beat the Fannin teams week 17. Fair enough. But yeah, sorry, I would probably stop at just 5 here. Let's again, I'm assuming the wide receiver room's shallow. So CeeDee Lamb, Deebo Samuel, Jalen McMillan, Rashee Rice, Alec Pierce, Dontavian Wicks, Trey Tucker, and Kevontae Turpin. Definitely pretty shallow. I mean, I like the Turpin with CD with Dak. I'm down with that. We got Dontavian Wicks. So just Wicks and Jordan Love. I mean, Lynch might have made sense for this team, but obviously, or Marshawn Lloyd, sorry, would have made sense for this team, but obviously you already maxed out at running back here. Probably would have brought in some more rookies just to pair up with the Green Bay, stack, that it could be a phantom stack like that. But yeah. Brenton Strange, Tyler Higbee, Tyler Conklin. Thin tight end room as well, which is, if you're going to be thin, tight end's the place to do it. So that's kind of fine. I'm not too worried about that. The wide receiver room is a little concerning. I mean, 3 of these guys with your flex spot. Like, that's something that is a bit of a strategy that I think gets overlooked as well, or not really talked about. The zero RB bros just are rolling in their graves right now. That, 3 running backs can crack your lineup. There's a flex spot available for another running back. So I still think it's aggressive to do what you did, but you now only need 3 wide receivers per week, is essentially what that is, right? You have to start 3 wide receivers, and you can, when you do something like this, 3 running backs have to crack your lineup pretty much every week. So then you only need 3. One is CeeDee Lamb, of course, but other than that, that's really all it is. That's like a guarantee to be in your lineup. CeeDee Lamb will be in your lineup pretty much every single week. But other than that, none of these guys I'm really trusting to like Debo is, in theory, the next likely to crack your lineup week in, week out sort of thing. But, the ceiling and floor, the floor especially, like the floor is extremely low. And then the ceiling is not exceptionally high either. So I don't know. This is an interesting build. I'm nervous. It's too much capital to the running back room and not enough to the wide receiver room, essentially, is what it boils down to for me. Let's check out Losimo. We're at 23 likes. We get 2 more in the next couple minutes. We'll rip a second draft. If not, we're going to wrap it up. 3683, Kyler Murray, Tua Tagovailoa, and Matt Stafford. That works for me. Devon Achane, Chase Brown, Chuba Hubbard, Braylon Allen, Will Shipley, and Marshawn Lloyd. I like that. That definitely works for me as well. Yeah, good amount of capital, top 3, and then off it. And then Braylon Allen's a great click. Marshawn Lloyd's a great click. I'm not a Will Shipley guy personally, but I understand it. I understand that. Kyler, Tua, Stafford. We got Puka, Harrison, Waddle. I like that. Well done. Double tap Indy. I'm not sure that's the way to go. Like unstacked Indy, right? I don't particularly like that, especially because you were probably going down the road you went early. Like you knew you're probably taking Tua when you go Achane, Waddle, right? It's like, yeah, okay, I'll just take Tua. It is what it is. And then, with Marv, Kyler was already on your team before you brought in these 2 wide receivers. So, yeah, I probably would have went somewhere else as far as that's concerned. Michael Wilson, I'm not really bringing in Michael Wilson. I honestly think he gets replaced. I really, really do. And I don't say that a lot. I don't like to just say like, oh, he gets replaced. I think that's faulty. That's a false narrative a little bit, and it's faulty process a lot of times. Depending on who it is, what the position is, like Javonte Williams is going to get replaced, right? Michael Wilson, I think he gets replaced. Someone like, I don't know, Cole Kmet, I do not think he gets replaced. Could it happen? Yeah, sure. But pretty unlikely that Cole Kmet gets replaced in this draft. Kind of exceptionally unlikely, in my opinion, but it is possible. So I don't like to use that theory either way. I do think that Michael Wilson does, but I understand the click. He'll be on the team, double stack with Kyler, so it works. But this is like the double stack naked Indianapolis Colts wide receivers. That's a little on the tougher side for me. But it's a little tougher. Like you got some discount on Josh Downs, so I like that for sure. Like I love that click, but the Pittman, I don't think I can get behind personally. Slayton, I don't mind that. Colson Loveland, Kyle Pitts, and Cole Kmet. That works. So double stack Kyler, double stack Tua, single stacked Stafford. I actually don't like clicking Stafford at all. Like I really don't like the click. And maybe that's what you're thinking about doing here is going Josh Downs, Michael Pittman, and then maybe bringing in, Anthony Richardson or something. Maybe that was the original thought process. I'm 0% Stafford. The only time that I'm ever going to personally bring in Matthew Stafford is if I get Puka at like pick 8, 7 or 8, whatever, and then I'm able to get a falling now because his ADP is rising, Devontae Adams, and then I'm double stacked with Stafford, then I'll do it. If not, I'm just taking Puka and building out my team like, as an anchor wide receiver sort of thing. Maybe I'll bring in like the Arizona side, which you did, and that's fine. Or maybe a San Francisco stack, Seattle stack, even something like that. But I'm not drafting Stafford at all. I'm really not. I just do not see much of a ceiling for him. And he's basically shown us what he is these days. Like, he's a phenomenal real life quarterback, phenomenal, like one of the probably top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL real life. But as far as fantasy, it's just not really there. Like, I would say his ceiling is roughly like 26 touchdowns and 0 rushing, right? So I don't know. That's just where I'm at with Stafford. I'm not clicking him at all. I really can't like force the click. The only way I'm doing it is, again, get Puka here and then Devontae Adams down here. So if you can get Puka at like 10 and Devontae here, then I'll bring in Stafford. And that's kind of the only place that makes sense for me. But I don't know. That's just kind of where I'm at with it. Ashton Genty. That's fair. What are we at? We're at 24 likes. Guys, killing me. We're at 24 likes. So I got to be a man of my word. Got to be a man of my word. We're going to wrap it up there. A little bit of a short one, almost a 3-hour live stream last episode. So we'll be back either tomorrow or Thursday. I got to do my golf stuff tonight too. So we'll be back in a couple days for sure. If you're watching it back, leave a comment, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We're 7 away from a 12-hour live stream. But that's all it's going to be today. I'm going to go do some mock draft stuff and hopefully come up with some theories. But like I always say on Off the Schneid, if you're afraid to be wrong, you'll never be right. Hopefully tonight we were right with our unique little bit of a build. We'll see you guys either tomorrow or the next night. Like I said, we'll see you on the streets. Peace, obviously.